93, it's A-U, A-W, A-G-H, and all three of those spelling patterns say ah. We call these vowel teams, just like we learned already. Remember, we talked about different vowel teams? All right, so here's our agenda for today. We have phonemic awareness, we have our visual drill, we have auditory drill, blending drill, and then we'll learn our new concept today also. So for phonemic awareness, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you some sounds and then you tell me what the word is. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I want to hear you though, okay? Augh,
Large.
Good job. How about this one? Augh, ch.
Large.
Good. Aw.
Straw.
Yes, good job. Yeah, let's try that one more time. Fault. Say it. Fault. Like whose fault is it, right? Let's try it one more time. Fault. Excellent. Your turn. Can you do the word pawn? Yep. Draw. No, so remember, we don't put the d and the r together. We have to separate it. Draw. So you're saying j for draw. Draw is d. Okay, let's try it again. D, r, ah. There we go. How about haunt? There you go. And caught. Excellent job. All right, we completed phonemic awareness. Let's go over our visual drill. Our visual drill is getting a little bit harder, and that's because our spelling patterns are changing. They're not just the A, B, C, D, E, F, G spelling patterns, right? These are now our vowel teams, our digraphs, and all the tricky spelling patterns that we've learned, okay? So let's go ahead and start. Here we go. E-W spells... No, what does E-W spell? Ooh, good job. Say it with me. Ooh. U-I spells ooh. U-E spells ooh. O-O spells ooh, but it also spells like the book card, right? But what about short vowel U? Short vowel U spells, ready? Let's say it. U spells Excellent. Drew, move your hands from your mouth and that way I can hear you, okay? How about this one? I-G-H spells I. O-A spells O. O-W spells O. O-E spells O. E-E spells E. E-A spells E. E-Y spells E. A-I spells A. A-Y spells A. I-R spells U-R spells E-R spells O-R spells or. O-R-E spells or. A-R spells R. Y spells yuck. What else can it spell? E and I. Good job. And there is our visual drill. Okay, let's get ready for our auditory drill. Write the spelling pattern that spells ooh. Okay, there's more than just two. Ooh. Okay, so who can tell me one of them? Yes.
O-O.
Yes, O-O says ooh. Another spelling pattern is U-I. So I'm gonna write it. Okay. Can you give me one?
U-E.
Yes, good one. U-E is another one. And another one that I'm gonna share with you that I didn't see you guys write is E-W. So E-W says ooh. What about U by itself? Can U by itself say ooh? Yes, so I'm going to put U by itself also can say ooh. Okay? So those are the spelling patterns that spell ooh. What about the two that spell What are the two that say Great job. Beautiful. Kate, want to share one of them? Okay, go for it. U by itself. I'll write it again. And what was the other one? O. That also says That came from the foot card or the book card, right? So those say Okay, write the spelling patterns that spell I. Okay? Who can share one of them? Okay? I blank E, good job. So that's one says I. What's another one that says I? Okay.
IGH.
Ah, great one. So IGH can spell I. And there's one more that can spell I. What's the other one that can spell I? Do you guys remember sometimes Y at the end of a word can spell I? Okay, next. Write all the different spelling patterns that spell O. Try this smart. O. Who can share one that spells O? Okay, who can share one? Nobody knows any spelling patterns that spell O? Drew?
OE.
Yep. Together or by itself or what? Together, right? O-E. Okay, what's another one that spells O? Excellent, yeah. O blank E spells O, good job. What's another vowel team that says O? Yes.
OA.
Good job, you got it. O-A spells O. And we have another one that spells O. It's another vowel team. What about O-W? We forgot O-W spells O. Okay? All right, let's do two more. Can you write the spelling patterns that spell or? Or. Okay, what's one of them? Yes.
O-R-E.
Yep, O-R-E. Good job, Emma. So O-R-E spells or. And what's another one? Yes.
O-R.
O-R spells or. Okay, last one. Write the spelling pattern that spells R. R, like in car. What spelling pattern spells R? Does anybody know? Nice. Yep, what is it?
A-R.
Yes, it's A-R. Great job. All right, go ahead and erase your boards. You guys did a great job. I'll erase mine also. Okay, you can just move your whiteboard and your marker to the side. So we finished our phonemic awareness, our visual drill, our auditory drill, and now we're gonna get ready for our blending drill. So for our blending drill, I already have our letters picked on our blending board. I'm gonna give you a word and I'm gonna ask you to read the word together as a group, okay? So here's the first sound, here's the next sound. Okay, what's the word? Who remembers what U-E spells? Yes. Ooh. So how would you say this word? Yes. Rue. Good job. So now if I drop the U-E and put O-W, what does it say now?
Row.
Excellent. Can you say that a little bit louder?
Row.
Row. Good job. What if I put an R blend at the beginning?
Grow.
Grow. What if I change it to an L blend?
Glow.
Nice. Now what does it say?
Blue.
Excellent. What if I change it to a L blend?
Blue.
Yes. What if I change the ending to R controlled?
Blur.
What's the word?
Blur.
Blur. Good reading. Okay. What if I take off the L blend and just put a single consonant?
Burr.
Burr. Good job. What if I add an S to the end?
Burr.
Burrs. Okay. Now I'm going to add, let's add,
Burn.
nice, Drew. What's the word?
Burn.
Burns. Everybody say it. Burns. What if I take off the S?
Burn.
Burn. Okay. What if I change the R controlled?
Born.
Yes. What if I change the vowel team?
Bean.
Good reading. What if I change the beginning sound?
Lean.
Yes. And what if I make it an L blend?
Green.
Glean. Good job. And what if I change the ending sound?
Gleam.
Good reading. Good job. All right. We completed our blending drill. That was quick. So let's see where we're at now. Okay. We're ready to start our new concept. So for our new concept, we're going to be learning all about the sound augh. Say it. Augh. So I pulled out a card that I had, and this card is the straw card. The word straw, you're going to hear the word augh, the sound augh in it. These are the 3 spelling patterns that we're going to go over today that spell augh. Okay? So AW says augh. Okay? We find AW in the middle of a word, like in the word lawn. Watch me tap it out. Ah, I don't go ah, right? I just say ah, What's the word? Lawn. Let's try this one. I say hawk. Excellent job. I can also find the AW at the end of a word, right? Like in paw. Watch me tap this one out. I would just go paw. The next one I'm going to do is the word law. Watch me. Excellent job. We can also find aw at the beginning of a word. So AW can be found at the beginning, it can be found in the middle, and it can be found at the end. So this is the word aw. Say it. Aw. Okay? And this is what my mouth looks like when I say aw. Open it up and say aw. Good job. Okay, let's talk about AU now. So AU says aw, just like AW. Where do we find AU?
In the middle.
In the middle, like in haul. Let's tap it. Haul. To haul something means you're pulling something, okay? This is the word fault. Let's tap it. What's the word? Fault. Excellent job. We cannot find AU at the end of a word, okay? We only find it at the beginning or in the middle. Say aw again. Aw. Now we're going to talk about a different spelling pattern, and that's 4 letters that say aw, and that is AUGH, and that says aw. Okay, where do we find aw?
In the middle.
We find it in the middle of a word, like in caught. Let's tap it. Caught. This word, caught, only has 3 sounds, but look at how many letters there are. But it's only 3 sounds. So if I was going to map this word, the C would be in one box, the AUGH would be in another box, and then the T would be at the end, the last box, okay? All right, so aw. So here are the 3 spelling patterns that spell aw. AU, AW, and AUGH. Good. Watch me read these words, okay? Watch me do this one. Draw. A lot of you, when you get to a D and an R, you want to say draw. But is it draw or is it draw? Right, let's practice saying that. Draw. Draw. Excellent job. Watch me read this one. I'm going to say all. Say it. Haul. Say it with me. Haul. Okay, my turn. Ought. Taught. And then seesaw. This is a compound word, right? Seesaw. And seesaw is like a teeter-totter. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, where one person sits on one end, the other person sits on the other, and it goes up and down, up and down. Exactly. All right, we're ready to read some together. So take yours. You're gonna need your pencil.
There's only 3 students.
All right, does everybody have their pencil? Excellent job. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and put mine up along with grabbing my pencil. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna look for the 3 spelling patterns that we just went over. I'm gonna go on an AW hunt, an AU, and an AUGH. Wherever I see these 3 spelling patterns, I am going to circle that spelling pattern. Guys, 5 seconds to find the spelling patterns. Great job. So as I come over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I noticed you circled the AW because that says augh. I saw AW. I saw AW. Can you guys tell me, where did you see AW at in the word? Yes, at the end of the word. And I saw AW here. What about here? Where do you see AW, Drew?
At the middle.
In the middle, right? And then here I see AU. And over here, I see AU also. Which word which spelling pattern is missing? Yes.
AUGH.
Yes, the AUGH, and we'll practice some on the next one, on the next slide, okay? So if I was gonna read this word, I only have 2 sounds. This sound, and the beginning sound, and my special spelling team, my vowel team. How would I read that word? Drew?
Law.
Law. Excellent. Let's do this one. 2 sounds also. How would I read that word?
Saw.
Saw. Good job. This one has a 3-letter blend. If I blend these 3 sounds together, what do we say, Emma? Struck. Good job. Now add the ah to it, and what's the word?
Straw.
Straw. And let's look over here. I see an R blend, right? And then I see my special sound, my vowel team, and then I have an ending sound. How would I read that word, Drew?
Crawl.
Crawl. And then over here, I see a digraph, right? So I know I have a sound, my beginning sound, my vowel team, I have a consonant sound, and then my digraph. How would I read this word? Emma?
Lunch.
Not lunch, because this doesn't say it says ah. Yes.
Launch.
Launch, right? When you're gonna launch something into the air. And the last one. Remember, this E is silent, but how would I read this word? Drew?
Cross.
You're close, but I think you're saying cur, and there's no blend.
Cause.
Cause. Okay, let's read all of our words quickly. You guys ready? Here we go. Law, saw, straw, crawl, launch, cause. Good job. I'm going to go ahead and delete the marks, and let's go ahead now, because we didn't have any that had the AUGH. I want you to read with me. Let's do these together. So I see the AU. How would I read this word? Excellent. What's the word, everybody? Fault. Say it. Fault. Whose fault is it, right? Now I see that AUGH. It's only 1 sound. So how would I read this word? Don't let it trick you. It's still going to say augh when we read this sound, that spelling pattern. Yes. Caught. Excellent. Let's all say it together. Caught. And this one is a compound word. Right? Do you see the special spelling pattern at the end? How would I read this word? Drew?
Withdraw.
Withdraw. Say it. Withdraw. Excellent job. All right, look at where we're at. We just completed phonemic awareness, visual drill, our auditory drill, our blending drill, and our new concept. Who can help me out? Today we learned a new sound. Who can tell me what was the sound that we learned today? Jayla Rose?
Augh.
Augh. What's one of the spelling patterns that we learned? Yes.
A-W.
A-W. What's another one?
A-U-G-H.
A-U-G-H. And what's the third one?
A-U.
A-U. Good job. You guys did a great job. All right, you guys can clean up your